Hello, all. A very warm welcome. My name is Louie Shalin, and today we are here. Today is Thursday, and thus, yes, we are going to talk about the inner voice. As we do every Thursday, we started talking about the inner voice. We started from the introduction, we moved on to level 1, which was presence, level 2, cleansing, level 3, addressing thyself, and today we are here finally at healing, which is level 4, as we have facilitated a lot of people across the world with this healing technique, and it has helped them tre- tremendously. This has been of great help to all of them, and this has been evident with the improvements they have had in their lives and also in their reviews. And today we are here, we are so glad to present, and we'll be talking about the inner voice. And with me is gonna be one of my associates, Samiksha. She'll be joining shortly. Ah, she's here. Just took her name, she's here. Good. Alright, so she'll be joining us in today's discussion where we'll be discussing about healing, how it works, and how it gets you in touch with your inner voice. Hello, hi
Hi, sir.
Samiksha. How are you?
Hi. I'm great. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's great to have you here, and it's great to meet over this discussion once
Yes, for
again.
another session. Yes.
So, like today, we are going to talk about healing, which is level 4 of the inner voice. As we
Yes.
start from the process of presence, we go about cleansing, then addressing thyself. And
Yes.
after we address all the inner parts and all those voices inside our heads, here we are with the actual process of healing.
Right. Let's start.
So, like, there's a reason, like, why we have kept the process of healing at level 4. Like, we are in the later half of the program, like, we are in the later half of the inner voice, and healing comes in that. Till then, the level 3, it is just a build up. If we build up to that, level 5, we're going to go to the golden door. We'll be talking about that next Thursday. But today, like we know healing, how it happens, how it impacts one's journey, and what happens within when one is going about that journey. Yes, that's unique, what goes on within, but yes, of course, it has a connection with all of the practitioners, and also it has a great connection with the facilitation to the course.
Right. Right. So, what can you tell me about how can a person realize that he or she needs healing in the first place? Because the first step is recognizing that there could be something inside of you that needs healing.
Mhm.
So, how does one recognize this and then go ahead with that?
Well, healing is a process. It happens when we feel there is some internal misalignment. It is not that there has to be something very much appalling that's going to call for healing, that the situations have gone upside down, or it is something which is going out of control. It is not just that, but even those little tiny things, the moment we get up or the moment we are just about to sleep, those are the most vulnerable times of one's presence, or of one's being awake. Those are the times when one gets in touch with their true self. And at that moment, the thoughts and the emotions what you're having, they paint the true picture of your inner self. And if we feel that there's an offset just before sleeping or just after waking up, if there is some offset, is that what we feel in our lives? Yes, there is an offset. And healing needs to tread that inner part of yours to set it right.
Okay. So, since this is the fourth step in the whole process of recognizing yourself and healing yourself, um, so what is the mindset that one requires when he or she gets into healing, or what are the expectations one should not have when moving into that journey?
Well, I really appreciate for you getting this to the discussion. This is a very important aspect of the course or of the process of healing. That when we are in the process of healing, the first thing what's important is to realize that what's going about in the reality or what's going to happen after healing, all of them, they are parts of us. What I'm feeling today, it is a part of myself. I cannot just cut it out of I just cannot cut it out of me. I just cannot separate that from myself. All I can do is I can accept it, I can integrate, I can reintegrate it with the other parts. That's how the process of healing happens. And what, like you said, what one should not expect, well, it's not magic. And yes, it requires effort. It is just the process of growing. And growing, yes, at times it requires a little more alignment, which sometimes is not so an easy process, or sometimes even is painful.
Right. I think the process of healing could take as many years one could even imagine, because there is no time frame to. I mean, healing is not just about getting over something that damaged you or maybe broke you, to say, but also to open up to a lot of other things, a lot of other gifts that the process opens up to you as you start to get in touch with yourselves. There is more
Absolutely,
to just
absolutely.
solution to problems. There is more to just these things. They're just
And yes, healing has its own timeline. Sometimes for some people, maybe something very little takes years, like just it's a very little thing, but it's going to take years to get resolved. It is not about those years, and sometimes it's not even a problem in the first place for a lot of others. It is not about the problem, it is about how we are perceiving it. How are we going about it? There's an inner timeline which is going on, and we often tend to compare it with the actual timeline which is going outside of us for everyone. The process of the inner voice, like what we call as healing, is getting in touch with those parts of us. Because a lot of times, as we get in touch with us, those parts, they just wish to be acknowledged. They are there for a purpose, and once we acknowledge them, that's just what they need.
yeah. So as long as we don't accept them and we keep trying to ignore them and brush them under the carpet, the more they're going to haunt us and run after us, chase us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll give an example. I'll give a very like short and significant example, and that is something of failure. Well, success is something we all want and we go after it. But failure, I would not say it is like the opposite of success, but yes, it's a part of it. One cannot succeed until they know what it is to fail, or until they have seen what the other side of the picture is. Now, when something goes wrong, be it an examination, be it a job interview, be it a relationship, or be it something what one considers as the most important aspect of their life, the moment that goes wrong, all of our energy that goes on in fixing it. That, okay, this is the problem and I need to fix it. All the energy is just after fixing that problem. I'm not saying fixing is wrong. Fixing is not wrong, it's not bad. Fix the problem. But sometimes a lot of events in our lives or a lot of things in our lives, they are inevitable, or something which already has happened. It has become an event of the past. We cannot change it now. We cannot roll the timeline back, go back in time and correct what has been there. But what we can do is, even in the time when we are just trying to correct it, the best thing to go about it is get back to your center first of all. Get back to now, and then try to look at the problem from the perspective which is right there in the present. That what is the situation right now? What are the opportunities that you have? What are the threats that you might be facing? And then, yes, go about solving it. It may require something, it may require something else.
Okay, so now healing is a type of thing that people don't usually, go to or know about when they have any kind of discomfort or face any kind of problems. Um, Many people don't know about the healing practice, and the
Right.
whole dynamics that go behind it, and like what's the history and everything. So, and I think it's really interesting. Um, it's something beyond, the pharmaceutical, the pills you take and the conventional methods you follow. But I think just like every other practice, like building a muscle, this is something that you have to do consistently. Healing is not something you've done it once and things will not break again. They certainly will, and I think it's a practice that you have to constantly do in order to better yourself and your life.
Absolutely. Truly. A lot of times, like you said, things they get to a point where we are not in a position to do something, or people, when they don't understand what to do, things they tend to go beyond the aspect of conventional healing or medical science. Well, when we talk about medical science, it talks about this is the problem, you take this pill, it is going to solve that problem. Yes, medical science is good. With due respect to medical science, they have been healing people, they have been treating people for a very long time, which is really good. A lot of times, when something is within there, like I would like to share something which has come to me as a case study, or which has come to me. A lady had come up to me for some sessions, and what happened in those sessions, she said that I have been feeling some kind of discomfort in my jaw. There is some problem in the jaw which I'm facing, and I'm just not able to get rid of that. I don't know what to do. I have been on medication, I have been on treatment, I have had surgeries, but nothing moved. Eventually, she came to the door of energy healing. We were in good terms, like we had known each other for a good amount of time until then. So I received a call from her. She said, I'm going through this and this. I said, okay, I think this is something which can help you, first of all. The hardest part initially was to calm her down with all which was going on. Sometimes it is the problem. At the same time, it is the panic or it is the emergency control which we activate to control or to curb that problem. When all of that comes into picture, that is even difficult to handle. First thing was to calm down, like just be in the moment, understand what's happening, which is hard, of course. It's a person in pain, it's gonna be hard for them to be in the moment, but yes, you need to talk to the pain, like you need to be with the pain. We cannot run away from it because it's something which we are already carrying within. Just sit with the pain for a moment. It is the pain which is in the jaw. Let that pain be something which, when we are mindful in our practices, we can feel the presence of our whole body. And and we realize that the pain is not all over the body, it is just in the jaw. And that is kind of a practice where we have a glass of water and we have salt. If we put that salt in the handful of salt in a glass of water, we can't drink it. And if we put that salt in a pond, nothing changes. So we gotta get to that emotional space of a pond first. That's the first thing we gotta do. That we understand that we are just not the jaw, we are much more than this. There's a lot of things, like we have a good whole body which is fully functional. The other parts, they are supportive for that, and we are grateful. So let's be grateful for that for a minute. Then we go about the process of cleansing, that in order to heal this, or in order to activate the emergency control. We have been targeting this for a very long time, which has affected the other parts of the body, which has affected the timeline or what other parts of the body would have been doing otherwise. Get them back to normal, let them relax. Then talk to the pain. What is causing the pain? What caused that offset? When was the time when it was, and when was the time it wasn't? That is when healing comes into picture. We we get to the right solution, like as in the course, the inner voice healing. It itself has 5 methods. There are 5 different ailments which are given to each of the different problem, and they relate to the elements. So that is something which is a natural solution which we derive from nature. The 5 elements, they are deployed in 5 different type of solutions which we deploy to different types of problems. And when we do that, no matter what, it is going to give us comfort, it is going to give us peace. And that is exactly when things are going to be setting right. That's exactly we'll be setting right the entire situation around us. And guess what? What happened after 3 months? Her jaw improved. No surgery happened in those 3 months. It was no additional medication. It was just this element of energy healing. Talking in the sense of in the material sense, nothing added. But yes, a lot changed. She was on a journey of her development, and by the time she could realize that there was something wrong, she was already ahead of a lot of things, and she was feeling good of herself. She was feeling good of herself, and that really helped her get over that pain.
I think that's a really great story, and I'm sure a lot of people, get immense help from healing techniques. So, can you tell me that can a person practice these healing techniques on themselves and by themselves?
Right, of course, of course. In fact, energy, like the inner voice, this is the level, what do we call, like, this is a self-healing practice where we get in touch with our body, we get in touch with our energy, and we heal parts of ourselves. We talk to those parts, we get in line with their requirements of what they have been looking for. And that, yes, of course, they are parts of us. And we heal them as we go about knowing more and more about us in that journey of self exploration.
Okay. So, and how do you think a person draws the line to, disassociating from the pain, completely, which is saying that, I'm not my pain. I'm not the
Mhm.
pain that I'm feeling. Or is it to completely accept the pain and say that, you know, I am the pain and I'm so much more than that. And that is why, I can bear it.
Absolutely. Well, these are the 2 ways of saying it. Now, for example, there's a muscle pull. Now, what happens in a muscle pull? There's a nerve which gets stuck between 2 muscles, and the nerve is constantly feeling pressed, and that is when we are feeling the pain. We can either ignore the pain that, well, it's nothing, these are just my muscles, and I can feel both of them, and that's all. That's okay. It's just a part of me. It's me, it's not the pain. Or at the same time, a person can accept the pain that these are my muscles, these are my nerves, and the signals I accept and own all of them. And that's okay if this is a part of me. So either way, is what you said, this means the same. And this is the way, like this is the way to go about it. In the 5 elements or the 5 elements of nature, this is one of them, which is derived as acceptance, that we accept what it is and we go about it. Sometimes we gotta wait for things to happen, sometimes we need to push them, and it is just about taking that call in the moment. And this is exactly what the inner voice or the process of healing talks about.
So it's that the pain does not become bearable. It's us that become more enduring.
Right. We become a whole, like we also talked about in we become a whole, and in that wholeness, we are better equipped for the situation. We are better equipped to deal with the pain. And like we said in the previous live as well, we are a collection of 30 trillion cells which are working together, and we are heading it. We are giving it the environment through our mental and emotional state. And this is the purpose of that. If we are telling them constantly that I'm good, I'm perfectly fine, that is going to have a positive impact onto us.
That's right. So, what do these healing techniques involve? I mean, do they involve any kind of um, gear that you need, some crystals, or can you just do it, with your own energy and intention?
Well, like you said, it just involves one single thing, and that is yourself. That is just yourself. Because all we need is like what we have is a lot more than what we need. Our energy itself is so immense. We are so well equipped and blessed with all the energy we have that we can successfully go about anything we want to accomplish. Like just staring by as an example, 1 cubic meter of space holds so much of energy that it can boil off all the oceans of the world. And we are a lot greater than that.
That's amazing, and I think learning about the whole process is just, very interesting and just a very interactive thing to do, and a very interesting practice in general. All the healing techniques and the process of just getting in touch with yourself and following that practice, following that ritual constantly. Um, it it's just amazing, and it's one of my favorite things to do. To sometimes just do nothing and just stay, be with myself, and introspect, and maybe that's the best part of my day when I do that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's something which gives a lot of peace, no matter what. And peace is the beginning of all the good things, because that is when give ourselves that time to heal. We give ourselves that time to feel loved and to create.
Exactly. So you put yourself first, and you recognize where something needs fixing or healing. So I don't like to call it fixing, because that means that something is broken, but it's maybe bettering or altering it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like realizing that we are whole and we will always be, and nothing can change that. And it's just the acknowledging and acceptance of that that makes all the difference.
Correct.
Well, with this, we are here with the closing of our today's session, which was about the level 4 healing of the inner voice. I want to thank our viewers for joining in. I want to thank you, Samiksha, for holding this discussion.
Thank you for having me here.
Have a great time. Good night.